Welcome to Creepy Conjures, where the eerie and unsettling come to life. Tonight, we're shaking things up with something a little different. In this special episode, we'll be diving into the dark world of urban legends, but with a twisted Creepy Conjures spin. Brace yourself as we take these familiar tales and turn them into nightmares you won't soon forget. Sit back, relax, if you can, and enjoy the chills that await. Story number 1. Nikki had always been good with kids, which is why she quickly agreed when the Johnstons asked her to babysit their twin boys, Jake and Luke. The twins were turning 6 the next day, and the house was already decorated for their birthday party. Streamers, balloons, and colourful banners hung everywhere. The boys were bubbling with excitement, and it was Nikki's job to make sure they went to bed early so they'd be well rested for their big day. "Just make sure they're asleep by 8, Mrs. Johnston had said, handing Nikki a list of emergency numbers. "We'll be back by 11:30. If you need anything, just call." The evening started off fun. Nikki played hide and seek with the twins, their giggles echoing through the house as they darted from room to room. After a few rounds, they settled down to watch a movie and ate some pizza. By 7:45, the boys were yawning, and Nikki ushered them upstairs to bed. The twins, tired from all the excitement, fell asleep quickly. Nikki returned downstairs to the living room, feeling the quiet settle in. That's when she noticed the clown statue in the corner. It hadn't been there before, at least not where she could remember. It was life-sized, with a painted face frozen in a wide, unsettling grin, and it was holding a bunch of balloons. She assumed it was part of the birthday decorations, maybe a surprise for the twins. But the longer she stared at it, the more uneasy she felt. Something about it was off, though she couldn't quite put her finger on what. The statue seemed to be watching her, its glassy eyes glinting in the dim light. Shaking off the discomfort, Nikki sat down on the couch and tried to focus on her phone. As she scrolled through social media, she began to hear faint noises, soft creaks, as if someone was walking around upstairs. She paused, listening intently. The boys should have been asleep by now. She got up and checked the stairs, but everything was silent. Dismissing it as the old house settling, she returned to the living room. The clown statue was still there, looming in the corner, its eyes seeming to follow her every move. Feeling a growing sense of dread, Nikki decided to text Mrs. Johnston to confirm when they'd be back. She typed out a message. "Are you guys still coming back at 11:30? The reply came quickly. "Yes, we're just down the street. Is everything okay?" Nikki hesitated, then added, "Where did you get the life-size clown statue from?" There was a pause, then her phone buzzed with a new message. "What clown statue?" Nikki's blood ran cold. Her hands trembled as she slowly turned to look at the corner where the clown had been. The corner was empty. Before she could process what was happening, she heard the sound of footsteps behind her, followed by the loud creak of the front door being thrown open. Panic surged through her as she spun around, just in time to see the back of a man fleeing out the door, disappearing into the night. She bolted to the door, slamming it shut and locking it, her heart pounding in her chest. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. The man had been in the house with her and the boys the entire time, posing as a statue. Nikki rushed upstairs, checking on the twins. They were sound asleep, blissfully unaware of the terror that had unfolded downstairs. She stood by their door until the Johnstons returned, still shaken from the encounter. When Mrs. Johnston entered the house, Nikki ran to her, explaining what had happened. The police were called, but the man was never found. All that was left behind was a single deflated balloon lying in the corner where the clown statue had been. Story number 2. Jamie loved the attention she got on social media. Every post, every like, every comment, It was her way of staying connected with the world, even when she was home alone. That Friday night, she was buzzing from the fun she had with her friends at the local cafe. As soon as she got home, she plopped down on the couch and pulled out her phone, eager to see the reactions to her latest post. Her golden retriever, Mackie, jumped up beside her, nudging her with his nose. Jamie smiled, scratching behind his ears. "You need to go out, boy?" she asked, her attention still fixed on her phone. The likes were rolling in, but she couldn't help but notice the same mysterious username had liked all her recent posts. She brushed it off, figuring it was just another random follower. Mackie whined and barked softly, clearly needing to go outside. Jamie pointed toward the back door. "Go on, Mackie. Use the pet door," she instructed, barely glancing up from her screen. Mackie leaped off the couch and sprinted to the door. As Jamie scrolled through her feed, she glanced out the window and froze. Standing under the dim light of the street lamp was a figure, dressed in an all-black trench coat, barely visible in the shadows. The figure's face was hidden, but it was clear they were looking right at her house. Jamie's heart skipped a beat, but then her phone buzzed with a new notification. When she looked up again, the figure was gone. "Probably just my imagination," she murmured, dismissing the unease that had settled in her stomach. Just then, her phone rang. It was her best friend, calling to gush about a cute barista she'd seen at the cafe. Jamie laughed and chatted with her friend for over an hour, completely forgetting about the mysterious figure. After the call, Jamie realized how late it had gotten. The house was eerily quiet, and she suddenly noticed that Mackie hadn't come back inside. It wasn't unusual for him to sneak through one of the holes in the fence to visit the neighbor's dogs, but a nagging worry began to gnaw at her. Jamie decided to take a shower, hoping Mackie would be back by the time she was done. She let the hot water wash away her anxiety, the rhythmic patter of rain on the roof lulling her into a sense of calm. By the time she got out, the storm had picked up, thunder rumbling in the distance. As she crawled into bed, Jamie called out for Mackie, but he didn't come. The wind howled outside, and the thunder grew louder, waking her up in the middle of the night. Half asleep, she reached down the side of her bed, as she always did, and felt Mackie's wet tongue licking her hand. A sense of relief washed over her, and she drifted back to sleep. When Jamie woke the next morning, the first thing she did was check her phone. She had dozens of notifications, but these weren't the usual likes or comments. They were private messages from someone she didn't recognize. Confused, she opened them and felt her blood run cold. The messages contained photos of her house, taken from the outside. As she scrolled, the photos got closer, showing her living room, the hallway, her bedroom. The last photo was of her, asleep in her bed, her hand dangling off the side. Her heart pounded in her chest as she read the only message that accompanied the photos. "Humans can lick too." With trembling hands, Jamie jumped out of bed, frantically searching for Mackie. She found him in the backyard, alive but trembling, hiding in the bushes. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. Whatever had licked her hand last night, it wasn't her dog. Her phone buzzed again, and she nearly dropped it. A new message appeared. "See you soon." Story number 3. Joey's parents were gone for the weekend, leaving him with an empty house and plenty of time to kill. He sat in his dimly lit room, fingers flying over the keyboard as he played an old fight arcade game. The sounds of punches and kicks echoed through his headphones when his phone suddenly buzzed. It was a FaceTime call from Miles, his best friend. Joey answered, and the screen flickered to life. At first, all he could see was darkness, but then a figure appeared, shrouded in shadow, wearing a pale mask with no features, just a blank, unsettling face. Joey's heart skipped a beat. "Miles, what are you doing?" Joey called out, his voice wavering slightly. A burst of laughter erupted from the other side, and Miles removed the mask, grinning. "Man, scared already," he teased. Joey let out a shaky breath, annoyed. "Real funny. What exactly are we looking for on the dark web anyway?" Miles shrugged. "I don't know, some creepy stuff. I've been messing around with it for days and haven't seen anything too wild. Jeffrey said his cousin saw a guy getting eaten alive on the dark web last week," Joey muttered, rolling his eyes. "Yeah, right. So, we doing this or what?" Miles asked, his tone suddenly serious. Joey hesitated for a moment but finally nodded. "Yeah, let's do it." He hung up the call and stared at the icon on his desktop, the app he'd downloaded earlier that day. He hovered over it, feeling a knot of anxiety tighten in his stomach. After a deep breath, he clicked on it. The screen went black for a moment before flickering to life. At first, Joey didn't understand what he was looking at. Just a collection of disturbing videos, animals being killed, people offering illegal prescription drugs, and other dark content. He scrolled through the pages, feeling increasingly uneasy, until he stumbled upon a link with a familiar picture. It was the mask that Miles had worn earlier. Curiosity and dread fought within him, but he clicked on the link. A live stream opened up, showing a man sitting at a dinner table, calmly eating a piece of meat. The man didn't speak, just methodically chewed each bite as if unaware of the camera. The meat looked strange, unsettlingly raw and red. Joey's hand hovered over the mouse, ready to close the window, but when he tried, the screen froze. He clicked furiously, but nothing happened. Then, a message popped up. "Watch closely. You will be full soon. Dinner will be over shortly." Joey's heart pounded in his chest as he watched, unable to look away. The man finished the meat, wiping his mouth with a napkin. From the corner of the screen, another figure appeared, this one wearing the same pale mask. The masked figure placed a new plate in front of the man, revealing what looked unmistakably like a human leg. Panic surged through Joey as he frantically tried to exit the stream, but the message popped up again. "It's rude to leave friends while dinner is served." Joey's breath caught in his throat as he noticed something familiar in the background of the live stream. The room, the bed, the posters on the wall. It was Miles's room. His blood ran cold as the realization hit him. The man in the stream slowly turned to face the camera, and as he did, Joey felt his stomach drop. It wasn't just some random person. It was Miles, grinning with blood smeared across his face. The screen flashed with one final message before it went black. "You're next." Joey ripped the power cord from his computer, but it was too late. The screen remained black, reflecting his terrified expression as he sat there in the dark, the sound of distant laughter echoing in his ears. You've reached the end of another dark tale from Creepy Conjures. If the story left you with chills, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more haunting horrors. Don't forget to ring the bell so you'll be the first to know when the next nightmare is unleashed. Until we meet again, stay safe if you can.